This is the Snow Library Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 6, 2025. I am starting the meeting. We were possibly waiting on Deirdre White to join us, but she's not here yet, so we'll just stay in a holding pattern. She's got a couple things she's going to talk to us about. So I'm going to skip public comment for the moment and go to the approval of the minutes from the April 1st meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam. Does anybody have any edits or revisions?
There was one thing at the very end. Let me just look real quick. It says, it was talking about the technology, the lifetime learning paragraph. And just at the very end, it said, to accommodate those without the technology to join at home. I'm wondering if that was with the technology to join at home because it was a Zoom only course.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
I think
that
you would edit it that way, though, purposefully.
I did?
I think so.
The way it was presented to us was that they're actually presenting those online classes in the library. So if you don't have a
You
computer
don't
at
have them,
home,
then
you
you
can
can go.
attend.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So I just kind of misunderstood it. Thank you.
Okay. So as is, any other changes or edits to the April 1st meeting minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So we got
I
one,
was not
two-
there, so.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 5-0-1.
I was Debbie, but I thought I could vote.
Can you vote on minutes when you're not there? You can.
You can.
You can? Oh, okay.
Do you want?
6-0.
6-0.
There she is.
Give her a moment so she can see her. Hi Deirdre, it's Jamie.
Hi Jamie, did I miss public speaking?
Nope, we haven't had it yet. We went to the minutes and now we're going backwards.
I don't want to take up a lot of time, please, if you don't have time today.
No, I sent you a message. You know, as you know, we're a little limited in how much we can do when it's a public speak thing. So the trustees wouldn't be able to vote on anything or take formal action, but, you know, we welcome your updates, and if there's something that we need to come back to next month, we can do that too.
Okay, if I could do that, then I'd appreciate it, and I'll fit it in wherever it's good for you.
Okay, go ahead then.
Okay, I'm speaking to you now as a trustee of the Orleans Conservation Trust.
Deidre, can you talk louder by chance, or come closer to your speaker?
Is that better?
Not
No,
really.
it's about the same.
Just enunciate more.
Well, I've got it up all the way on my computer, I don't know how
That's
to
better.
get it.
That's better.
Better now.
That's
They
much
might have
better.
turned it on.
Okay. I spoke to Tavi a couple weeks ago and also to Kim O'Clair a few weeks before that about a potential partnership with OCT and the Children's Library to take place in the summer. And the idea that we came up with was that we would take 6 of the Thursday storytelling hours, I think it's every Thursday between 10:30 and 11:30, to focus on environmental themes with the children. And the first, this is, you know, to augment our partnership with the storybook trail. So doing that, we would pick 6 topics, and we would spread them across the 6 weeks. We would provide the books. Kim would provide the ideas for the crafts. We would fund the expenses. And this would be done through a grant from our education committee to a Snow Library. In addition to that, we would, I have COVID, so please excuse my hacking. We were thinking that it would be nice since they cut down all the trees in the back of the children's area, to put in a raised boxes for native plants. Our subjects would include pollinators, meaning bees, birds, and butterflies, and the plants that they like to pollinate, which would be the plants in the garden. So the raised boxes would not be a huge maintenance expense because they would be self-watering. I would also be responsible for checking in once a month to see how, see if the plants need any care. There would be somebody from the Orleans Conservation Trust at each of these six storytelling hours to answer questions, maybe give a little talk to the children. So we would be present at all these. And we just thought this would be, Kim got very excited about it, and we just thought it would be a wonderful idea to connect the storytelling hour with environmental concerns in Orleans through a partnership with us at the Orleans Conservation Trust. And so that's the sketch. And I don't have a budget from Kim yet. The grant would be enough to cover the crafts, the books, and the gardening, the boxes, and the soil to go in them, and fertilizer if necessary.
Okay, great. We've got a question right away from Cheryl.
I just want some clarification, Deirdre. I think it's a great idea. The topics are, of course, a great idea. Deirdre and I were master gardeners together, so we know. She knows I'm very enthusiastic about this. But my experience of Children's Story Hour is that the kids have at most a 15 to 20 minute attention span. So 2 questions I have. One is, who would be reading those books that you're choosing? And 2, one of the things that works in Children's Story Hour is songs and little puppet things. It just engages the kids and makes a better learning experience if they're getting the information through 2 venues. So are you planning on integrating that in? Talking to them lasts about 2 minutes.
I know.
They're little.
I know. I took my granddaughter there 2 times last
good.
summer. I'm firsthand experience. We would target the stories for probably preschool, kindergarten age children. We have a program now called Preschool Explorers, which is free to the public, which takes 2.5 to 5-year-olds out into the woods in the morning, just for an hour. And they're shown things in nature, and they break it up with crafts, and we've got a pretty good idea of how to handle this age group, and I know that Kim really does as well.
Okay.
So last year when I was there, she used a whiteboard on the side, and she would have things that were relevant to the story, and she would ask the children to come and put them on the board where the story was. And so that got the attention of the children. They were really good at sitting down doing the crafts. Parents would be there, so they would have supervision. I think that's the library's rule, and it would be our rule as well. So that's always helpful.
I have a question, Jamie.
I can't remember your first question, Cheryl.
My first question was, who's reading the books?
Oh, Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joan's got a question for you, Deirdre.
It's you. I don't know why do we have to vote on it, because
We don't.
we don't. It's
We don't.
just,
This
if
is-
it's agreed by
It's
Tavi and
just
Kim.
It's just program-wise.
Okay.
But I didn't have the information ahead of time, so I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so we're not voting, there's this information. Thanks, Deidre, it's a great program, but I just wanted to clear up, we don't have to give you the okay.
Well, it was just that we were going to be using property to put the boxes on.
Right. I have 2 questions about the boxes. Is it gonna be annuals or perennials? And do you expect to take the boxes away, or do you expect them to be there for the duration?
Most natives, being natives, are perennials. And so, what I said in my overview, which I sent to you probably way too late, is that during the winter, what we usually do is we put leaves on top of, we did this at East Ham Library for the children. Put leaves on top of the boxes, and then in the spring and the summer, they can see the perennials come back. Now, some of them won't make it, as is the way with gardens, and then we would replace those in the next month. So it's sort of an ongoing thing, and children would come back and say, "What happened to my plant?" You know, or whatever. And they can also take plants home with them, so that would be nice.
Okay, any other questions? Do you have anything else you wanted to tell us, Deirdre, while we've got you?
Yeah, no, I mean, if there's anything else you need to know, I wasn't sure whether there was a vote needed on this or whether this was FYI, but I did speak to Tavi, and Tavi thought that it should come before the board.
I think it's just for our information stuff, you know, when it's dealing with general programming, I think that we're fine having Tavi oversee it and handle it.
I did put a little, I put it in my report, so
Yeah.
informationally.
Yep.
Oh, thanks.
And it's definitely a very exciting endeavor, and I'm really glad, especially with OCT's relationship, not just with the library, but with the school system, and it's just really great that you're spending so much energy interacting with the community. I really applaud you.
Well, we see it as a way to support the community and to educate the kids, and also at a time when funds are being cut, we can step in to, breach some of the gap anyway.
Great.
So we're delighted to do it. We'd like to do more of it.
Well, thanks again, and feel better.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I'm on my way out right now, but keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, bye, Deirdre.
Thanks,
you.
Deirdre.
Bye-bye.
So much. Bye.
Okay, moving on to the trustee chair report. My first item and the most important thing of the day today is, this is the last meeting for two of our trustees, Sue and Pam, and I wanted to thank you so much for everything that you've done in your tenure.
Thank you.
Both of you have a long history of working with the library, and it means so much.
Thank
Small
you.
projects and big projects. Just thank you for everything that you've done. Tavi's wonderful handwriting inside the card is
That
all
was-
his, so I have no idea what he said. We all chipped in, and there's a gift card there for the Sea Howell Bookshop
Oh,
for you
nice.
Very nice.
to get
Thank
one
you.
book and maybe buy another book with it.
We'll go to the library.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Thanks so much for everything, you really, really appreciate
Hopefully we can keep on.
it. Yeah.
You're the first term.
Yeah, Pam said that she's gonna switch teams and she's moving over to the bookmobile. Book sale. Book sale.
We'll see.
Yeah. Mark was gonna give a presentation on a couple of things, and it turns out there isn't that much. If you look down on the agenda under project updates, I'm just gonna touch on them pretty quickly. There hasn't been any real update in terms of wait, hold on a second. No progress on scanning. Mark and I spoke a little bit a few days ago, and he feels that it'll probably be not until late summer, early fall, for us to get back into the efforts to digitize the Cummings collection. He said that, as we all know before, we've got to do a fair amount of work on our end first before we launch back into the actual scanning. So that numbering system will be intensive. And then the second thing he was going to touch on was our conversation with the NBLC about the grant decision.
Can I make a comment, please, on
Sure, go ahead.
on the imaging?
Sure.
That I'm still very willing to help him.
Oh,
with that.
and going through in the numbering sequence? Okay, well,
When he gets ready.
it's on the record now,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I'll relay that you said that. 'cause-
Yeah.
And
Thank
Pamela,
you.
you know about this new numbering system? Mark said there's a new numbering system.
What do you mean, a new number?
That's what he just texted, and he said Digital Commonwealth required a new numbering system that will be incredibly labor intensive.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be very labor intensive. So if he wants help, he can ask me.
Do you know anything about that
Yeah,
system?
no, the question is, did you know anything about the system?
No.
Oh,
Tavi,
which
do you know
change?
anything
I
about the
haven't.
system that's?
No, but he was going to start from scratch and basically go through. The archivist says you can't use the old numbering system because there's no rationale behind it. In other words, none of us, no one who's ever worked with it knows why each print was given this particular number. And they don't seem to relate either by subject matter or book or anything. And so the first thing the archivist says is you just gotta eliminate the whole system and renumber.
And make a determination as to whether
could
it's
actually be
1
easier.
through
Yes.
1,000 or
Well,
whether
you
it's
know,
a
you-
whole
you-
bunch of different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing we have to talk about is, in other words, you're gonna have to pick a print and start with one.
Yeah.
And then just go all the way through. I mean, some have letters behind them, like 39 and 39A. Nobody knows why one is got an A after it and one
Because they
doesn't.
found it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the archivist just recommends just start somewhere, get it, and start with one
Yeah.
and just go all the way through.
Is this archivist from the Boston Public Library?
Yes.
Which has the most obscure organization system of its own. They made up their own. They don't use Dewey, they don't use LC. They use the BPL system.
Confusing.
Works for them.
Well, I'm happy to work with him if
Okay.
if he needs some help with it.
Nice.
Great, thank you so much. And then the second item is where we are with the MBLC. As you remember, a ways back, we asked for a Zoom meeting with them so that we could talk about the grant decision, and Mark said that he had not gotten a response back yet. And so he thought maybe what we should do is partner with the Southborough Public Library. They also weren't selected for the same reason, for the same similar financial ratings. And so he doesn't have an update in terms of reaching out to Southborough. But that would be something that maybe would be efficient in terms of Andrea and a Zoom meeting. I think we really need to keep on this one and not let it go by the wayside, because it's an important conversation to have, even if it's a Zoom thing with, 6 of us. Any comments or questions on that? Okay, going back up in the agenda, we're gonna get an update from Tavi on federal funding cuts to libraries.
Okay. So some of this information is as late as May 1st. So just as a recap, this is all related to the March 14th executive order by the federal government targeting the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And the first thing to note is that the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, the MBLC, did make some cuts just in anticipation of federal funding cuts. They didn't want to start certain things and then have to not be able to continue them. So there were a couple of grants, localized grants to 18 libraries that were discontinued. There were 12 Perkins accessibility training sessions. And so the Perkins Institute deals with people with disabilities. So they include topics like creating accessible web content and multimedia and writing about people with disabilities. So that was cut. access to training and continuing education for librarians at various different levels, through Web Junction, so that was cut as well. And then finally, a grant to work with the Department of Corrections to have a program that allowed the MBLC to collaborate with librarians working in jail and prison libraries across the Commonwealth. That also was cut. And they even say in here, they didn't make the decisions lightly, but they wanted to make the cuts in these areas because they felt that there would be less impact in general on Massachusetts libraries. And just two areas in particular that I and many of my colleagues are worried about are cuts in the interlibrary loan database, the Commonwealth catalog. That would be felt by almost everyone. And then the other, the databases, which we use, patrons use, and we librarians use on a daily basis. So I think although no cuts are ever good, I think making cuts in some of these areas, I think the MBLC felt would be better to try to prevent cuts in other areas. So in other news, so the MBLC reported the House Ways and Means budget proposes a level fund for library lines, in other words, lines on the library's budgets. So the MBLC appreciates that as opposed to cuts. They did say, however, that even a small increase would have made big impacts, but that they want to at least prevent any cuts from being made in the budgets. The Massachusetts Attorney General's office did join along with 19 other states in filing lawsuits against the federal government in order to prevent any funds from being taken from the Institute of Museum and Libraries. And I think there was a statement made by a patron regarding these, and I'm just going to read the statement because I think it probably, rather than have everyone read statements, I think this encapsulates it the best. I think we all feel this way. This person, and this was sent to a Massachusetts senator. There is no other place where families can go completely for free and access this combination of education, entertainment, and community. The library is one of the last truly public spaces we have, open to all, judgment-free, and deeply rooted in service. Without it, we lose more than just materials. We lose access, we lose connection, and we lose one of the few places that still exists for the public good. And I think that pretty much says it all right there. On May 1st, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia granted a temporary restraining order to block the dismantling of the Institute of Museum and Library Services. That was to result from the executive order. And MBLC says we're going to determine how this will impact our ability to access IMLS funds. The instability at IMLS at this point, federal funding remains uncertain. I think this is important. This places the MBLC in a position for planning for the FY 2026 budget season without federal funding. And the broad effect of these executive orders, they're impacting more than just libraries. They're creating funding challenges across the state. And that means that the state budget cannot make up the total loss of $3.6 million in IMLS funds that the MBLC receives. So that's a lot of funding that the MBLC receives from IMLS. At the last board meeting of the MBLC, they said the State House Ways and Means budget, which was level funded, leaves the shortage in the agency line for the MBLC agency. Without the increase, they asked for an increase of $415,000 that cannot cover the MBLC's basic costs to run the agency. And this does involve some salaries and also the lease on their office space. It says in terms of MBLC staff, the MBLC is already lean, having gone from a staffing high of 38 in previous years to 23 current members. She further says, this is the director of the MBLC, Maureen Amio, to provide the services required to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 78, we need every single person we currently have on staff. If we cut staff, we will have to cut services, and that would put us out of compliance with the state law. So they are hoping that that temporary restraining order will have some effect on not allowing the decrease in IMLS.
Has anybody read anything more about the restraining order or the court's decision? I haven't.
There was a link when it was sent out to that hearing. I wasn't able to access it. When I clicked on it, I got to a website which was where this hearing was supposed to take place, but nothing came up.
Okay. Thanks, Tavi, for all those details.
Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely looking at a situation where the state trying to backfill federal cuts when federal cuts, I mean, timing is everything in this scenario, but at least it's encouraging that the House Ways and Means Committee might be considering some backfilling if it was necessary. But the whole topic is very difficult, and it's encouraging to see the decision for a restraining order coming out right away. Comments, anybody?
I have a question. Is there a legislative day planned for this spring? They usually have a library legislative day in the spring, and they're in the papers now. Everything is talking about the legislator discussing what to do with the excess millionaire tax money. It seemed like it would be a good time to do some lobbying.
I do know, so I was at, it may have already been in, I think it was around the time of mid-March. The reason I say that is because Senator Sear was at a CLAMS meeting that I was having on a completely different topic about censorship, because he is proposing 2 bills that want to prevent library censorship to school libraries and public libraries. And that was the big topic that we had during the discussion. He mentioned about the legislative day, but I mean that was in March, and it was right around the time that all of this came out.
It was March.
So.
Okay. Well, thank goodness that there's the courts, you know. Any other comments or questions? Tavi, did you want to talk about anything else in your update?
That was the only update I had. Everything else is in my written report.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on to Sue, your last financial report. Are you taking the money with you?
Well, maybe. It looks like we've utilized through, we have 2 months to go, May and June, and we've used about 80% of our money, which means that on the projection, there will be money that we won't use. Now, that money just goes back to the general fund, I guess. So, I don't want the people out there to hear this, but is there anything that we need that we could spend that money on for the library? Maybe something that you had wanted in your budget that you couldn't have to try to meet your budget? I mean, can we spend any of that excess money before it gets turned back in?
Well, we are still planning on using for the expenses, the salaries. Unfortunately, some of that we are going to have to send back because we had vacancies and so forth. We can't do anything about that. But we are planning on some other purchases for the library. So that number is going to get down quite a bit.
Good.
Before the end of the year.
Good. Okay, so I noticed that. It seems like that would be good. Maybe something, because we won't be able to get it next year. It also looks like a lot of our revolving funds have actually grown over the year. or else have stayed the same. Now, even though I'm leaving, I ask this question always. Like the Leslie Pike Foundation, our total is exactly the same as it was at the beginning of the year. It is not money that's put anywhere that even earns 1% interest, right?
On that particular one, yes.
I mean, can it be put somewhere very safe to just earn interest at
Is it being
least?
held by somebody else?
No, it's just, I mean, all of these are being held by the town, all of our.
But Sue's right, 3 of them are earning interest, and that one's not.
Well, some of them, I don't know if they're earning interest.
And
They're
that
being
has
used.
to, well, see, that has to do with the
Yes.
way that it was set up. So like, for example, you notice that, you have the trust funds and they're all together and they're an aggregate of a lot of different trust funds.
Right, and they've done very well.
Right, because
This
because they're set up in a particular way to do that.
Right.
But if you notice, like, the Leslie Pike, you might say, well, why is that under the revolving and why is that not under the regular trust? It's the way it was set up, just like the Cummings Special Collection Account, the Hess and Helen Klein Foundation, I mean, that's,
So I guess my suggestion would be for next year to possibly look into changing the way they're set up so that they're still safe, but at least earn a little money. I mean, some banks are even, or a CD pays
Sue,
something.
Kevin might have something to add.
Yeah, and I've been a liaison to you guys for years, and I know this has come up in the past. Some of the gifts come with the ability to allow the treasurer to pool them and access higher interest, which he does. However, some, as Tavi said, may have very specific restrictions that you've accepted, and that means to the extent that they may have to be held separately and cannot be commingled or things like that. So for those that are not earning anything, I mean, certainly if I can help to follow up on them, but I have a feeling the treasurer will give you an answer that they are all being properly handled the way they were gifted to the town.
I can see not commingling them, but they're separate funds now. It just seems like they could be.
Right.
yeah, I mean, I can get an answer for that, but
Okay.
I think the question's already been brought up and it's already been, I think people have looked into it already, but it's again, it's how the setup of it is, but I can get that.
Can I ask a question? Then when you
Sure.
pull money from a fund, why not just pull it from the Leslie Pike Foundation Fund? Like, because if it's not earning interest, whereas the other trust, to Sue's point, the trust funds as conglomerate are earning interest. Does that make sense? So I don't know what the Leslie Pike Foundation says you have to spend your money on. But wouldn't that be the first place in that maybe you would pull money since you can't make any money off of it? It's just sitting there.
Yeah, the thing is though, and I mean, if you notice, if you take a look at the Hess and Helen Klein Foundation, the amount in there has gone down quite a bit.
Right.
We're not going to be getting any more funds.
Right.
Because that was from a person who gave it to us who is not in a position to give funds anymore. So I mean, and it's the same thing with the Leslie Pike Foundation. I mean, once
Right,
that money
right.
is gone, it's just going to
Right.
be gone.
Right,
But
but
couldn't you, for example, to Sue's point, couldn't you, I don't know, but couldn't you pull from there versus pulling from one that is getting interest? Like if you had to fund something?
I
mean,
don't
you
know if any
can.
of these are getting interest, even any of the revolving.
No, except for the trust funds, right?
Only those trust funds.
Yeah. None of them revolving, but,
Okay,
but I don't know, because this has some deposits, so.
so.
Well, it
okay.
had, like, some of them have deposits, like the Cummings Special, because that's from booklets and postcards. I mean, that's how the money gets in
Yeah.
there.
Okay, all right, well.
Well,
that
Sue, I
was-
think that, as treasurer, if you have questions, I think that it makes sense, especially while you're still a trustee, to have a conversation with the town treasurer in regards to any of these. If you
What,
want,
I should call the town and ask?
if you want, you can ask the town treasurer,
Or
sure.
go in and visit with Scott. He's
Yeah.
more than happy to sit down and talk with anybody.
Yeah.
Scott
Okay.
will.
I just met with him.
Scott will.
If you don't want to, that's okay too. Tavi has all the questions
Well,
in this
we'll see.
conversation.
I could ask.
Sure. A lot of these funds got commingled and were
All right.
allowed to all
Right.
be used in.
Yeah.
And I would think that's.
Okay, otherwise,
that's
we're in
why
good
the
shape.
regulatory these monies are calculated.
Oh, Cheryl?
Very much in your best interest.
You commented on the fact
I
that
agree.
it's only 80% of the operating expenses now, but the books come out in publishing cycles, and there's a heavy cycle in the fall and a heavy cycle in the spring. So they'll be spending a lot of money over the next 2 months so that we have the best sellers that are coming out this spring for the summer season.
Okay.
If you watch the publishing cycle, you'll see this, there's a fall and it's people buying for Christmas, it's aimed for the people buying for Christmas presents, and there's a spring publishing season. So if he were at almost the end of his budget and all those spring books came out, we wouldn't have the bestsellers for the people who come this summer. So that's, it's,
Strategy.
that's a management decision and he's doing it right.
Right.
So,
Okay.
this is my question, so see this idea, they took money out for,
Hey, look at this one.
Okay, any other questions?
so they took money out for
Now to the report from the Friends representative, Karen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, this has been a pleasure. Okay,
down
our financial report for July of 2024 to March 2025, we have a gross year-to-date profit of $142,900. Our capital campaign expenses, we've got a video and the posters, cost us about $500. Our contribution expenses have been about $47,800. Our operating expenses have been about $32,200. So our year-to-date net income is $62,400. Our book sales have been going well. Lauren Spengler, who had set up an eBay account for us for the Friends of Snow Library so we could sell books through eBay to a wider audience, she has now been doing that independently and having to write checks herself for them to the Friends. But now she's made the Friends eBay account official, and the money will be made, will include the new category in our profit and loss sheets each month. So many other Friends libraries and other nonprofit groups apparently do this too, so we've just joined the club. Lifetime Learning is going very well. There were 477 participants who registered for over 1,426 courses during the winter-spring session. 130 registrants were new to the program. This is great considering there's a lot of competition from other libraries now. The committee is looking for some new presenters for the fall session. If you got any ideas, we'd love to have them, which will run from September 29th to November 20th. The Lifetime Learning Committee is also looking for some new members. In other news, the Friends now have a raffle permit and plan to raffle off some donated books from C. Howell Books and some H.K. Cummings matted posters at the Cherry Blossom Festival this Saturday. The book sale will go on as usual indoors from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the Friends are looking for some new board members, possibly a vice president if no one currently on the board wants the position, and a new member at large. And that's my report. Any questions?
Very good.
Wonderful. I mean, it's very interesting to see the lifetime learning programs popping up in other libraries. Monkey see, monkey do. And I think it's a wonderful thing for all communities to have.
Yes,
It's getting
absolutely.
So many people engaged. And
Sharing some of the same speakers, which is,
that's
why
neat.
not?
That's right.
Yeah, that's a neat idea. And also with the advent of Zoom and people's comfort with Zoom and libraries getting fit up with Zoom, it's great to be able to share that too amongst other libraries.
I think we're still being copied. I think, our program has done so well, and we have such great members on that, that I think they're copying us in a lot of cases.
Oh, I think your program was a model for the whole state,
I think so.
It's a
not just the
compliment.
Cape.
Mr. Chair, could I add?
Sure.
Take that as a compliment in terms of the copying, but I would just suggest, and, figure out the timing, but I was in the crowd when Scott Harshbarger spoke about democracy. if he might want to come back and do another update, I think that would be a hit.
I think they're looking into that.
He was awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that the one that was at the community center in Chatham? No, that
Well,
was.
this was the one that they did at
It was
the
on-
crane meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else? We've run through the whole agenda?
I have one thing though.
Sure.
So, because this is really close before our next meeting, the Crane Library is going to host a art exhibit in alliance with what's going on for Lower Cape Pride. And Melissa Alves is the one organizing it with Tom Giroux, and Tom has been great. And Tavi has been very involved and has kindly. The library will have the entrance closed from 9 o'clock until the parade kickoff, which is 10 o'clock. And then as the parade moves, the streets will be opened up. The village green will be used for set up for family events, and there's face painting and bubbles and music and all that sort of stuff. And there will be a reception on June 4th, the Wednesday, instead of on the weekend, because the weekend prior is P-Town Pride. A lot of people will be going to that. So it'll be Wednesday, and we are working with Tom, and Tavi has cleared it with Tom Giroux, and we'll send out that information.
Great. Is there any level of involvement from the town itself? I know that they,
The town has been really supportive. Kevin has been working with us to get the town there. Kevin is going to be the one that's going to, at the end of the parade, he will be honoring the two leads, are Linda and Gloria Bailey Davis. And if people don't know them, they were in the plaintiffs in Massachusetts to allow for same-sex marriage. And they were one of the plaintiffs and one of the first people to be married in the state of Massachusetts. And they have been amazing couple. I mean, just so inspirational. And so Kevin is going to be doing the honorees at the end, and he's trying to get more people. The town has been supportive. What we're not doing is taking any funding from the town right now.
Okay.
So it keeps it very, very
Independent.
separate. We have raised a lot of funds so far. And we will be having, the police will be there. We've been working very close with the police chief. We also be doing de-escalation training, just in case. We think this is a great community. We don't think anything's going to happen here, but you'd want to be prepared in case there was someone that you don't want to interact with
Sure.
that way. So,
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for everything you've been doing in regards to that.
Yeah.
Does that go in the notes?
Oh,
That sort of
Sure, because
Okay,
this
so
is during the
Pride-
meeting, yeah,
Pride Parade update?
yeah.
Okay.
Saturday, June 14th.
Saturday, June 14th, thank you.
And it's not gonna rain that weekend, right?
Whatever, we're going to have it still.
It's so much rain.
okay.
Sue?
I just wanted to say I've enjoyed my 3 years on the board. I stepped in because there was an empty slot, and I enjoyed working with everyone. I thought we were a good board. Everybody worked together well, pulled their load, especially at the time when we were trying to work towards this grant and getting the new library. I wish you luck on further happenings with that. I hope that next year at this time, that you'll be on the agenda for the town, for the library. I will still be around to support you. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. But just thank you, everybody has been wonderful.
Thanks so much.
I agree. It's a very good board. I think, and I look forward to seeing the new board.
Yes.
And the new I think the two people that are running are going to be very good.
Yes.
Younger,
I don't know them.
bringing in some new enthusiasm to the board.
Sure.
So you're getting rid of the two old people.
Oh,
You didn't
a
say
state
that.
of mind, Sue, please.
And you also know we know where you are, so we could reach out to you and say, can you come back for something?
Friends group.
Thank you so much, and I think that the reality is that the need is not gonna go away until we address the issues that we need to address. And it's a very, very important project that might be sitting on the sidelines slightly for a little while, but we're gonna make sure when the time is right, working closely with the town partners, that we move ahead.
Yeah, I still don't know, and I'm one of the few that I still don't know if you guys should have combined into the campus, because trying to be separate, I just don't know. The campus is getting more and more talk. And there's the campus, and then, oh, there's the library. So,
Yeah,
We own the building, we have the space.
good luck.
yeah, and we're the anchor of the downtown
Yeah.
in many ways.
That's right.
But it is a conversation that we've had with town leadership, so it's not something that's completely stopped. And
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like when you look at a high school group that you're not in that clique and you want to be in that group, but we know sitting here how important it is in trying to move ahead with this size of a project. And we'll pick up speed again. Our YouTube video is almost at 300 views right now.
Great.
So
Wow.
that's significant. If you go on the web and you look at other library projects, you know, they might have like 27 views, and that number's still climbing because we've really worked hard on the publicity. And so more and more people seeing that, more and more people understanding the project, it really helps us.
Yeah. That little part on the front page where it says, why do we need a new library, is just very good. It catches my eye every time I go in there.
Yeah.
It's good.
And we're really lucky too to work with with Charlie and all of his efforts.
Yeah.
It's definitely a great project. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, one, before you,
sorry.
sorry, Tyree, what you read in terms of that statement from that constituent about access, the connections the library has and the public good, could you ensure that that's attached, if you need to redact or keep anything, you know, confidential for identity or whatever, but I think it'd be powerful if you attach that to your next minutes.
Sure.
It really spoke very well.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Sue. A second?
Second.
Are you sure you don't want a second, Pam?
I'll rescind it.
John was really fast.
Sorry. I'll rescind it, you do it, Pam.
Yeah, I'll second
All right, those in favor, say aye.
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 Have a good evening.